So, I swam around Manhattan this year. So I finished up my Triple Crown of open water swimming. The fat guy can do it. So what was you enjoy most about 20 bridges? So I swam the English Channel and I swam Catalina both. And out in the middle of both of them channels, there is nothing to look at. Every stroke you take in Manhattan, there is something else to look at. There's buildings, there's the adobe buildings, there's a different part of the river, there's people running that you're swimming just as fast as they're running. It's so much to take in while you're swimming. It's almost like your own personal guided tour of the island, so to speak, is what I remember about it. And I breathed primarily to my right, and everything was on my left, so I found myself breathing quite a bit to my left just so I could see what was changing. And normally when I breathe to my left, I get really dizzy, and Gorgeous tried to beat it out of me, and it just doesn't work. But I found that even breathing to my left, it didn't change much. I think it was just because I had something else to look at other than just nothing. My wife calls me Snow White because everywhere I swim, I attract the wildlife. So your jellyfish, 8.5 hours I swam through them. And the worst part was watching them coming in and get you, because there's nothing you could do about it.
I had 2 direct blows to the face that were
I had probably 50.
Yeah, wow.
I looked like a pumpkin when I got out. I was
like
so
a zebra.
I was just
You
destroyed.
really did for days, everywhere.
We got back to the Netherlands, and I walked in there kind of like this, and I told the lady in the store what was the matter with me. And there's this little cream, and we brought it home, and I still know right where it's at. And it was a godsend. It was, and they knew what they were doing. So, in California, I had sharks following me for a while, and then I didn't know about it. I would have been on the boat if I would have known about it. I remember seeing a great big fish underneath me for a long time. Seemed like 4 or 5 hours, and he just finally just went away. And then lots of little fish would come around all the time, and they said there were some dolphins too, right? I never did see them, or the shark, but the little fish and a big one that was bigger than me underneath me. I'm assuming it was a grouper. They said it probably was. So, and then in New York, the wildlife I hit there was somebody's toolbox they threw in the East River. So, and I drilled it pretty hard. But actually, there was a jellyfish in New York too, but they don't sting up there. It felt like a big glob of boogers on you.
That's great.
So the hardest part about, well, how else you want me to explain it?
I don't know. People always do it that way. It's fun.
If you don't know me, I tell how it is. I don't have a filter very often. I apologize. So, what was the hardest part about this specific race was in channel swimming, you're chasing cold water everywhere you go. And I was chasing cold water, taking ice baths. I hadn't taken a warm shower in years since you start swimming these dang channels. And I get up there and I jump in the water, and I thought it was a hot tub. The water, I fought cramps, leg cramps the whole way around that island. I've never had a thigh cramp as bad as I had up there, and there's nothing you can really do about it. You just kind of stop for a feet and rub it out a little bit. But there was a couple times I thought I was going to sink because I couldn't kick because my legs hurt so bad from all the cramps. So that was probably, if I was to do it again, I'd be taking warm showers and going down to Lake Powell to swim, probably just where it's warm water. Advice for someone considering this: it is a huge commitment, but it's not just a commitment to you that you're making, it's a commitment to your whole family. I have 5 kids, and it's a lot of time away from your family. Plain and simple. You miss a lot of things. You're at the lake at 4 o'clock in the morning getting in the water to swim before work, and then you get done at the lake, you're back in the pool or wherever you can get back into the water after. Or I coach swimming both age group and high school, that it's tough to find water time sometimes. And the commitment, you got to make sure, you have to be committed yourself too, but your wife and your kids, your family has to be committed with it as well. I mean, it's a financial commitment big time, so that's a big part of it as well too. So that's about it.
So did you have a kayaker in the water with you the whole time?
Yeah, so up there they provide you with a kayaker. It was funny, I'm up there swimming as fast as I can swim, and he's just kind of coasting next to me because it's current assisted. and he's over there smoking a cigarette. Just, how's things going? He'd take a
Total
paddle
chain
about every
smoker.
15 strokes of mine.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
And then the freaky thing about it is, because you got to hit the currents just right. But as you go from one river from the east, so you swim in the East River, the Hudson River, or East River, the Harlem River, then the Hudson River. And when you go into leave one river and go in the other, them currents are colliding, and it's like being in a washing machine. And you've really got to be sprinting to get out of it. And so that happened 3 times, and the hardest one to get out of was when I was getting into the Hudson, because it was a great big river with all this current just swirling through there, and it felt like forever to get out of it. The best part of it out, when I got out, because the boat has to take off way ahead of you, so it's just you and your kayakers, there's no feeds, no nothing the whole time because they open the bridge only at certain times to get people through. So he took off. I think you guys were gone for about an hour or so before I saw you again, and that was the best part, coming through there and seeing the boat sitting there. So I knew I could have a drink at the time. So. But once you got out, and that last bridge, when you enter the Hudson, you got one more bridge, the George Washington Bridge, and it's a huge bridge. And it's the same thing, you see the land coming, you just never get there. And you swim forever, and all of a sudden, bam, there it is. So it's different. So
Is the water dirty?
no, it was actually really clean. The dirtiest part of it was probably where that toolbox is at, and that was in the East River, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So that was probably an hour after I started that I hit that.
Chad's dad was on his first 2 swims, and he passed away from cancer. But I swear, he hung in there longer. Be able to see, right?
Yeah.
He was there.
But you know, you hear all the stories, and I talked to Gordon quite a bit. I'm really good friends with Gordon, so, and Josh, obviously we can do a lot together, but Gordon's been there and done it already, and that was my biggest concern, was water quality. And he says the worst part about the whole water quality was there in the East River, where all the helicopters were coming in, all the boats were docked and everything else. Hudson was clear as a bell when I was swimming through, and I could see the bottom most of the time. And that was weird, swimming in that deep. It's a 60-foot, I thought it was deeper. I think the deepest part of it's like 63 feet. And I remember they pushed me clear out in the middle of the river, and the race directors were getting mad because they pushed us so far out so we could catch the current and pick it up a little bit. But 28 miles in a little over 9 hours is moving, so.
Wow.
You mentioned you breathe to the right, but you were looking to your left to see everything. But you go around clockwise, right? So you're not looking at. Are you saying the things to look at are not on Manhattan?
So
Or am I?
well, the Manhattan's on your left-hand side the whole way.
So counterclockwise.
So you do
Yeah,
counterclockwise.
counterclockwise.
I was thinking it was clockwise.
No, it's
Yeah,
counterclockwise.
no, you start at the bottom, and then you go.
Go all
Do
the way
some
around.
people do it the other way?
So they did one race of this year. I think the race directors got together and did it up there, and I guess the currents change at certain
Yeah.
seasons up there, and they caught it perfect so that they were able to go the other way around. So,
Yeah.
I mean, there's things to see on the breathing to your right, just not as much,
Well, that's
nowhere
what
near
it's-
as cool. So,
I was thinking it was clockwise, and I was like, why wouldn't you look at Manhattan? But that makes total sense.
and the best part is when I finished, they told me to swim past the boat, and you'll hear the buzzer go off. Well, I swam past the boat, and I stopped. Well, I didn't buzzer, and they're like, keep going, you got it. And I had to swim another 500 yards. So I stopped prematurely, but it is what it is. But I guess there was 16 people that started, and I think only 10 or 11 finished that day.
Oh,
Did you meet Luca? I think he did it this year. I can't remember his last name. Starts with a P. Yeah, a friend of mine from Bay Area. He finished this year too.
Probably. Did he swim in August?
I'm pretty sure he did. I
So,
think he was probably all white and he has long hair. Anyway. we can talk.
yeah, well, there's a couple all white people.
No, I mean,
I'm talking
he
to
puts
Destin. Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
There.
I knew what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Is that how they always do that one with?
I did, it was my normal challenge
group of
race.
people?
Oh, yeah, yeah. So they're
So
doing
you
it.
have to do on certain dates that they're going.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
give you either this day or rain days the next day. So it was either a Friday or a Saturday, or Saturday and Sunday. What was it?
Saturday,
Friday?
Sunday, yeah.
Yeah, Saturday, Sunday. So Saturday was the race day. If the weather's bad, you're going Sunday, whether the weather's bad or not. So
Is it hard to get, like, do they limit it to, say, 15 or 20 people?
there's only 15 people per wave,
Yeah,
and
okay.
was 4 waves this last year.
Oh, gotcha.
So they do it a little bit different from when Gordon did it. It was once a year, and it was, what, 15, 20 people again? Or
Well, the year before they had this humongous rainstorm, and it was just a disaster. So the next year, that's when they started doing the three or four waves, spent 2 weeks apart. Yeah.
And, it took me 2 years to draw out for this
I
swim
was,
too.
that's what I was gonna ask, 2
Yeah,
years.
it's 2 years, and it's quite lengthy application process to get in too.
You have to
So-
hit submit right at midnight, or else you might lose it. I mean, it's very competitive just to get in. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
and
we almost didn't know if you were gonna do it after you paid and did all the things because you were put on hold.
Yeah, well, yeah, so the bad part about it is they do it's called, 8 bridges, and it's up the down the Hudson all the way, and they finish at George Washington. And, like a month before I was flying out to go, a gentleman lost his life, drowned out there swimming it. And they put everything on hold. I got an email saying, we don't know if it's gonna happen now or not, or what's going on. And it took them about 2.5 weeks, and I got an email back saying, okay, well, it's on. And it was after they found his body and everything too, so. I think that's what they're just waiting for the person to get closure to figure out. In the Hudson, I guess that's saying something, they actually found somebody, so. I'm pretty sure I saw Hoffa, so.
Makes you have a lot of confidence after that.
Well,
Yeah.
it happens though too. That's the bad part is it doesn't matter what you're doing, it happens.
No, yeah.
I've worked long enough in the field that I used to work in all the time that you see bad things happen, so.
Yeah.